Context. I am an executive coach. I had my first exposure to coaching in 1984 when it didn't really exist in the corporate world. So what I do and what I teach is not coming from a coaching school. It's coming from what I have figured out over the last 40 years. And I've only worked with corporate entities, teaching leaders, teaching HR professionals and internal coaches for the last 25 years. However, what I'm now teaching to coaches like you starting this year is level 3, mastery in coaching. And interestingly enough, I used to teach that to the corporate leaders and still do in just a 3-day program, not 60 hours training or 125 hours training or 250. I believe you can teach mastery to beginners if you get it right. I also believe there are multiple levels of mastery. So we can dig into that a little bit later. So for the moment, if I can invite you all to just bring yourselves centered and present, come online with the intention to learn something that is going to dramatically change how you coach people. It's difficult, I know, when you know there's 40 or 50 people out there watching, listening. So just let's let them disappear. What I'd like you to do is just bring yourself centered in whatever way that means to you, and fully grounded, and just allow yourself to connect with me. So they all just fade into the background. Okay, good. So I believe you've come to this conversation with something you wanted to resolve. So tell me, we've got about 30 minutes. What's the issue you need to resolve in the next 30 minutes?
The situation is that I've quit my job 3 months ago already, and I have this vision of Vahag that I want to see in 30 years, 40 years, but it feels like there is a gap. Setting achievable milestones, measurable milestones on my journey of getting to the Vahag of my dreams kind of situation.
Okay, so if I'm hearing correctly, you've left work, you're going to do something on your own. And if I'm hearing right, you have a clear vision of what that will look like as a result if you were looking back at it from 40 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Not many people have that. That's impressive. So that's your current situation. What's your problem? What's the issue you need to resolve?
The thing is that kind of I cannot jump as high to get there immediately, and I need to kind of make goals for 5 years, 10 years before I get to the major goals in 40 years. And the goals to me seem a bit blurry at the moment, and I have kind of my mind is scattered into places, home, personal relationships, kind of the aspects of the balance wheel, and I kind of need to set up a vision for myself in 5 years in all those areas combined. Kind of what I'm looking for is balance in all the areas of my life. And I mean, I don't want to focus on only one area for 20 years, and so that other areas suffer. But I want kind of grow in a balance.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of see what's that balance in 5 years. How is it going to look like?
Okay. So if I'm hearing correctly, you say that in all areas of your life, you know what all those areas will look like in 40 years. but you don't know what they will look like in 5 years.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the challenge here?
The challenge is kind of to find the direction. I mean, I know where is the location, which is in 40 years, but
Mhm.
what's the direction that I'm going to take to get to that location?
When you say direction, because if you know if you know where you're going, you know the direction, right? Or you're not sure
Mhm.
where you are now.
Mhm. Feels like the where I am now is a question I didn't ask myself, and what I feel about this question is kind of very on point because I thought I don't know where I want to go, but maybe it's where I am now is the question that I have to ask myself. Kind of facing my current situation is probably, and seeing what I have and what I don't have, maybe.
Okay. So talk me through that.
Mm. What comes to my mind now is that, okay, I know who I want to be in 40 years. I approximately understand what's my career going to be, what's my family situation is going to be, my financial situation, and I have I've given myself a kind of period to explore my opportunities and possibilities, how on how to get there. And now I see a lot of options how to get there, and making a choice and clearly setting goals for myself. For example, I don't know, I want to um, become a scientist and dedicate a part of my life to science, but also I want to have career out of academia, but in a business world. And I also um, want to create a family, and all of this seem a bit independent from each other. However, I kind of they're interrelated, and I don't see how do I create a win-win situation, kind of to get to have family and to start my career and to do my work in academia, and kind of I don't want to give up on any of those parts. You know, I want to have all of them together. And the challenge is that currently I don't see how do they connect to each other. Although I see how what's the result going to be in 40 years. Probably that's how I would phrase it now.
So if you see the result, my hearing that you say when you look at the result in 40 years, you do see how they connect together.
Mm-hmm. if I were to describe how do these connect in 40 years, is probably me living my peaceful life, but also giving value to society and to my family. Also having financial sustainability to some extent. And the question that arises is, how did I get there?
Could I ask a slightly different question?
Mhm.
Just now you said you're very clear on what your life will look like in 40 years' time and how everything fits together. However, when you described it just now, you were being very vague.
There is this in the training of art exercise where I visualized a situation in my life,
Mhm.
and kind of there's a concrete specific episode in my mind.
Mhm.
However, the feelings that I have when I look at it is the vague description that I just gave you.
So, am I hearing that you know what the future feels like, but you're not clear what it looks
Probably
like?
yeah, that's true.
Okay. So let's come back to where you are now.
Mhm. First word that pops up to my mind is anxious.
Mhm.
Uncertain, and feels like I know a lot of stuff, but I have no clue what to do.
Mhm.
That's it, probably.
Okay. So if I'm hearing correctly, you're saying that you know what some years from now you want your life to feel like. And you know
Mhm.
that that feeling is going to come from having family, having a business career, having an academic career. Those are your three sources of that feeling. But you have
Mhm.
no more precision about it than that.
Mhm.
And if I'm hearing correctly, you're saying that at the moment you're struggling with how to start on the path to go there.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Can I just clarify right now? Do you have an academic career?
Um, I did my bachelor's degree with a degree that I don't want to continue, so it's kind of starting from scratch at the moment for me. And feels like a bit challenging to start over again, especially when it lasted far more than I have expected, the previous one.
Mm.
And kind of feels like I'm from scratch, and that is probably what makes me anxious about it.
And if I can ask a couple more questions, do you have a business career right now?
No, I don't.
Okay. And do you have a family right now?
Neither.
Okay. Okay. So your current situation, if I'm hearing right, is that the 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 feeling you want to get from having those three elements of academic career, business career, and family, those are your three areas of activity that are the source of that feeling.
Mhm.
And right now, you haven't, I'm hearing you haven't started the journey of building the business career. You haven't started the journey of building the family. You have started the journey of building the academic career. You just may switch topics.
Mhm.
So this actually feels like, wow, that's impressive. You could do anything then. You could do anything. This is awesome. So could you just for a moment just bring fully present into your mind, your body, that feeling of what this 40 years from now that you described, just bring that feeling fully present in yourself and just sit with it, hold it. Now, I want you to just take that as you see it and you hold it right there in front of you, because everything is connected. You know from your academic career, thinking is the process of connecting previously unconnected data in your brain. And as Einstein proved, everything in the universe is made up of energy. Therefore, there is a level at which everything exists and is connected. And if I'm hearing correctly, you want the opportunity to reach up into the realm of possibility and see what connects to match that feeling that you're experiencing at the moment. Are you willing to step into it and accept it?
Mm, yes. And
Okay.
kind of a wave of calmness and open mind, a state of being, of a calm state of being just filled my body.
Beautiful. Feels good, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I just want to take that feeling, that future of those three elements that you have there in front of you that's full of it's filling your entire body now, right? You can feel it. Okay.
Mhm.
Now just elevate it upwards. Elevate it up to the level where the infinity of everything that's out there exists. And just hold it up and allow it to draw all the possibilities into it. Now, bring it back into yourself strongly. And with all the channels open for all those possibilities to now continue to keep flowing into it, you won't necessarily know the answer. It may take a little while. But I want you to just now hold that within yourself and let it expand as all those possibilities come into it. And let's energize it. Let's just spin it. Just make it spin around, give it some momentum. And then when you're ready, allow it to explode outwards to fulfill its potential.
Mhm.
Okay. What are you experiencing now?
Um, um, I'm experiencing a feeling that I can take my life into my hands and make my decisions for myself. The eagerness to do so, that's what I'm feeling. And realization or understanding comes to me that waiting for time to kind of letting the river decide the direction might be an option, but that's not my option. And that is the challenging part. That for what it feels now, it's if I'm not gonna take the direction into my hands, the river is just gonna get me somewhere. Again, it might not be a bad place, but that's not the place where I want to go.
So what have you just learned about yourself?
It's I'm the owner of my life, director, and every decision that I make, even if not making a decision as a decision,
Right.
is it's deciding for the future self. It's a decision for the future self. And every decision that I make today is the value that is going to bring to me in 40 years.
A question, if I may. The feeling that you've been holding for the last half an hour of what that perfect life looks like. To have that feeling tomorrow, what needs to change?
Commitment comes to my mind. Staying committed to my vision of myself. Being aware of my blind spots and things that might distract me on my journey, because that's a well-known issue for me, because I might take the direction and on the journey just go around and explore some other stuff that is not mine. and setting what I want to do for the following days is actually to write down my goals and always have a look at them so that I don't forget about them. Um, I would be very happy and honored to sometimes share my path with some other people, but having mine apart and following my dream is what I really need to do. And just commitment to my vision. That's what comes to my mind.
And I suspect, because thought processes kind of go on, I suspect that in a few hours, or maybe when you wake up tomorrow morning and you sit down to do that, the first step in each of those three areas, you'll know. You do know.
Hmm.
So tell me, what was that thought process just there?
It's just that um, um, kind of what's the action that I have to take for this? That's nothing comes to my mind, but I simply have to do it. That's what comes to my mind. Just waking up every morning, writing down my goals for the day or for the week or for the month, and seeing how they contribute to my vision, to my journey.
Yeah. And to having that feeling every day.
Um, Probably being with that feeling, kind of sitting, doing nothing, and being in that feeling is what's probably gonna help me
Yeah.
be committed.
Yes. Because commitment you've made is that's a choice. You're committed to doing it. So what you need to do each day, I think you're right, will emerge from being committed to doing something and sitting with that feeling. Um, it's that phrase that somebody from one of the famous Olympian rowers was saying. Their phrase was when they were trying to decide what shall we do day by day, and what they said was, does it make the boat go faster? Yeah, that was the simple criteria. So in your context, it does. What shall I do next? Does it contribute to the feeling? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, in relation to what you needed from this conversation, where are you now?
I feel a lot more comfortable with the question itself that I've had.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like I just gotta do it. Nobody's gonna do it for me. That's just inner inner voice that's telling me you just gotta do it, and you can do it. That
Great.
feels great.
That's good. That's awesome. Good. Would this be a good place for us to stop? Are we done?
Feels like.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank you.
being open, being vulnerable. Let's invite everybody else back in.